Daisy O'Hara's Special Skin. Written by Arlington Roth. Copyright 2018. Arlington Roth. Let us begin. My name is Daisy Martina Guadalupe O'Hara. And long before I was a famous actress, this man picked me up when I was 15 years old. It was at a mall in Southern California. I was in a store looking through a rack of blacklight posters about Satan and Lucifer. I was wearing a canary yellow tank top from Macy's. It was a hot summer's day and so it was too hot to wear a bra. And I was wearing these black parachute pants without any panties because I didn't want any panty line showing, you know? They were very tight. This man said to me, "Those trousers are so tight I can see the mold of your vulva, and the blonde pubic hairs covering it." I looked down for myself and sure enough, he was right. We both laughed about that. He looked like he was in his 30s. Slim, muscular build. Quite charming. And he asked me if I had ever done any modeling work. I blushed and said no. He then asked me if I wanted to go to his place and watch a movie he had made for cable TV. He seemed like a nice enough guy, so I said yes. I noticed he wasn't wearing a wedding ring and so I assumed he was single. As for him being twice my age, that was every girl's dream. To be fancied, and sought after, by older men rather than, zit-faced, teenaged, assholes, with perpetual erections? Hell yes. I was excited to be going home with him. He drove a metallic, purple, Ferrari, and while we were driving to his place, he lit up a marijuana cigarette, and handed it to me. He said, "You don't have to take it if you don't want to. It's just polite to offer." I smiled and told him I had been smoking marijuana since I was 13. When we got to his place, it was a penthouse apartment on Wilshire Boulevard. The view was magnificent. While I was standing in front of one of the picture windows, he came up next to me and slipped his arm round my waist and pointed to somewhere, and said that was the parking lot he was looking at with his telescope when he saw Marlon Brando on his hands and knees, puking his guts out. He said he hooked up his video camera to the telescope and filmed Marlon Brando vomiting profusely. He asked me, "It's only 25 minutes long, do you want to watch it?" And I said sure. So we sat down on the sofa in front of this large screen television and began to watch it. He asked me if I wanted a beer and I said, yes. I said to him, "You do know, don't you, that I'm only 15? And he said that he trusted me to drink it like an adult and not get sick afterwards. So he brings me this beer and sits next to me. I've only had a few sips and he starts touching my hair and telling me how clean and pretty it is. This makes me feel happy because I take pride in my appearance. He then asks me if the air conditioning is too cold, and I say no. "Why do you ask?" And he looks at my chest, and my nipples are super hard, and pointing outwards like torpedoes. I burst out laughing and instantly cover my chest, and he pulls my arms from my chest and hikes up my tank top and begins sucking on my breasts. I mean, he's like a hungry, ravenous animal. I had certainly had my tits sucked before but nothing like that. And I admit it felt good to be devoured, to be desired in such a ravenously hungry manner. He then slowly moved from my breasts and began kissing my tummy and working his way down to my parachute pants. He looked up at me as he was just about to undo the top button as if he was asking permission, you know? And I thought that was so considerate and sweet of him. And so I just undid the button myself and then he grabbed my pants and peeled them off me, exposing my swollen fig and pink butterfly lips, and he began to lick all the right places, and next thing you know, he's inside me and we come together in a glorious, explosive orgasm. Afterwards, we shared a cigarette and then ordered a pizza, and after we ate up all the pizza, he dropped me off back at the mall. I told all my friends about it. Even proved it to them by showing the hickeys he had left all over my boobs. So, like I said, I was only 15 and he was attractive and we had a good time. But then, when I got much older, I realized he had made an administrative error. The law said that anyone 18 or over was not allowed to have sex with anyone under 18, and yet I had been 15. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized how horribly this man had abused me by breaking the law. We were not legally allowed to have the good time we had. And I didn't know it at the time. I had thought it was okay to have a good time with anyone of any age as long as they didn't threaten or harm you. But now I am ready to name this man, this Hollywood celebrity who broke the law and took advantage of me and ruined my life. Ever since I realized he broke the law, I have cut my hair and shaped my appearance to look like Sinbad, O'Connor, to signify just how horribly I have been damaged by that experience at the tender, innocent age of Southern California 15. I am so outraged by what has happened to me that I feel justified in categorizing myself with all those damaged and hoodwinked, underage groupies of the rock stars in the 1970s and 80s. They were victims. Their fun was not real. Their bragging rights were of no value to their social pecking order. Their nights in hotel rooms with caviar, and cocaine, and champagne, were actually nights of torture, and horror. And to them I say, me too. Me too. I was tricked into having a good time by someone who was not legally allowed to have a good time with me. I hate my life.